So, Stan, you are here as our studio guest, and we are really honored that you came all the way. You are participating, or were participating in product development for different onboard devices, as well as between a train and the track side. And I think now the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anna. And thank you very much to the audience. I will try to religiously stick to the 10 minutes. I've got a clock in front of me, so feel free to ask any question in the meantime. For those who don't know me, I'm Stanislas Pinte. I'm from Brussels, and I used to be the CEO of a small software company in Brussels called ERTMS Solutions, and now I'm leading the signaling company. Today I'm going to talk about ERTMS baseline evolutions. Not that I'm plotting to make any additional evolutions, but evolutions are reality, and I try to address the question of evolutions from both a customer and a supplier, being a supplier. So in my presentation, I will first make a very short presentation. It's only 2 slides about who we are. Then I will describe a bit the problem of ERTMS baseline evolutions, and then that's what my teaser was about. How do we take an idea coming from the video game industry from the 90s and use it in our new products to fix that baseline problems? Then I will make a small discussion about the benefits for the railway undertakings. The content of my presentation is it's general. It could be adopted by any supplier of ERTMS onboard system. There is no secret there. There is no intellectual property. It's just an approach. So first, who we are, the signaling company. We are an ETCS onboard supplier. That is actually a joint venture between a railway undertaking and a software company. We have several differentiators in our approach in the market. First, we want to offer our customers an insurance against baseline evolutions, to be safe and protected forever about these baseline evolutions. Then we are not delivering a closed product. We are delivering an open product. Think about Apple and the App Store. We want to do the same for ERTMS, to have sort of an ERTMS store of applications. We also think that it's time that an ERTMS on board can be updated over the air. Like your iPhone is updating during the night, your locomotive should do the same. Then Matthias told about the industrial challenge to install a lot of systems. 35,000 locomotives that you need to install before 2030 in order not to delay the ERTMS rollout. That's a huge challenge, and we have even not enough manpower to fix that. Simplified hardware. We have a launch customer that happens to be also our shareholder. It's Lineas, and our challenge now is to deliver 88 Belgian locomotives, Type 77, and 22 locomotives that run in Belgium, Netherlands, and Germany. Something to note is that we are not delivering the ETCS on board and then going away. We are there to stay for the long term, because we need to maintain these systems for 10 years after installation. And we think that match the timeline of all the railway undertakings. Less than 10 years is ridiculous. Stefano was mentioning 20 years. Okay, so what's the problem? Why is this a problem with the baseline evolutions? Well, the problem is that today, like Matthias said, ERTMS is a braking system. It's only braking the train, and it's already quite evolved and complicated. In the future, you would like it to do additional things, additional functions, like automatic train operation, like level 3, like satellite positioning, like energy savings, and you can go on and on with the number of applications that the users, they actually want. And these bring a real benefit. Braking the train is only stopping it on the track. You don't have benefit from it. Then what we see is that the ERTMS specification, they keep changing. We are now at baseline 3, release 2, and there is another release that is planned for 2022, and then probably another one in 2027 or 28. And we see that the users, that's a slide coming from the CER, the lobby of railway operators, they want to be protected against these changes. They don't want to buy a system and then it becomes obsolete because there are new functions in the specifications. If you look at the official documents, you already see there is a document called ERA Opinions. It's about all the changes relative to the existing baseline. If you put yourself in the shoes of a railway undertaking, when there is a new baseline that comes, the best case is they only have to pay for software upgrades and additional unavailability of the locomotives. The worst case scenario is that, hey guys, your computer became obsolete. You need to change the computer to install the new software. As a user, you never want that. So that's the problem with baseline evolutions. As Matthias says, these evolutions are needed. They needed to have one single system in Europe, and then they also needed to bring the game changers. So they're needed, but the current situation is that they're really painful. Okay, how do you design an ETCS onboard product so that baseline upgrades are not anymore a problem? I was talking about video game industry. The video game industry has always been very creative because you need to release a lot of games fast for the users. It's a bit a similar problem, having changing video games and be able to release software fast. And that's what we actually did in the signaling company. We say, oh, we shouldn't do a lot of coding in our products. We should have a model, an abstraction of the functions. And the model is the source code. So, and I'm not going to go into too much technical details here. I'm a programmer, but I'm not assuming everyone is. We made a language, a programming language, to put the ETCS functions in. It's called ERTMS formal spec. And the idea is that we take that model, we compile it, and it makes a nice file. And that file, we upload it to the iEVC. That's our code name for the onboard computer. So we take the model, and we compile and we upload to the ETCS onboard. No coding anymore. And then that ETCS safe computer runs inside the train. More details about that. When we say the model is the code, then you understand that we need an execution engine into our train. And that execution engine, we gave him the shape of a cell phone because it starts to look like that. The ETCS functions, it's an application. The configuration of your system to go for a freight locomotive or a passenger train, it's another application. And once it's installed inside the train, it can also be remotely upgraded because these applications are going to change. You will have a new configuration. If you add wagons or if you add digital coupling, you will have a new application. So what kind of applications do you put into a train? Well, first, you put ETCS functions, the basic ETCS functions that everyone needs. Then you put Class B systems. Matthias was saying we need to get rid of the Class B systems. Well, our proposal for that is let's emulate them with applications. Because the day they're gone, the trackside is the infrastructure manager, they remove all system from the trackside, you just push on the application and you remove it, like you deinstall Candy Crush on your cell phone. I use the Belgian example of Class B and the French system. You have the German system, then one or two Dutch systems, Danish systems, etc., etc. It goes on. Other kind of applications, automatic train operation. So you install ETCS, but maybe in 5-10 years, the whole ecosystem is ready for automatic train operation. Oh, you don't want to change your computer for that. You install an app. I'm checking the time, sorry. I'm almost going. So the updates, the changes in the ETCS specification, it's also an app. And it goes on and on and on. The new radio system, that's also a source of change. It's common knowledge that GSM-R, so that's the GSM radio system used for railways, it's from the 90s. It's obsolete today. So when a customer buys an ETCS on board with GSM-R, there is a piece that is obsolete today. And it's not the electronics that is obsolete, it's the radio system. So 5G is coming, FRMCS, the code name for the new radio system. We know it's coming. In 27, 28, it will be a reality. We install an app on our iEVC for that. I'm almost at the end of my presentation. Of course, once all your locomotives are equipped with an iEVC, you can control all these apps in a centralized manner. And what's the benefit again at the end for the railway and the staking of all of this? So first, they know they can make an investment now, and it's protected for as long as they have a maintenance contract, 10 or 20 years, zero additional cost. Then they can customize it. I'm very interested to see the presentation of Wim Knoppers, because he wants an ETCS Lite for Netherlands. Correct. Same thing is being asked in France with Next EVC. Customers want to customize. Having apps enable them to develop new apps, to remove ETCS app if they want to change it, etc. And then what you have at the end is a locomotive that is like an iPhone. It's infinitely upgradable and customizable. Thank you very much. I'm ready for questions.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Stan, for the nice presentation. Also a bit more innovative, and I think also more creative, I think I would say. There were quite some questions coming in from the chat, but maybe Peter, you have already some questions to Stan as well.
Yes, I've seen some questions for you, Stan. Of course, it's tempting to see a locomotive as an iPhone and also use it as an iPhone. But there's also some cons to that idea to use specifically software and the model. And the question of Martin Leenaerts is, cybersecurity is a big theme. How does the signaling company envision the safety?
Well, that's a very good question. And actually, it's not something we can think about. It's something we must think about. Now, cybersecurity is part of the Senelec norms. So the railway standards that you need to follow to develop an onboard system. Sure. So we have a team that is thinking about security in general, and inside that team there is a cybersecurity cell, and they're developing a cybersecurity plan, and we're going to implement it. So we need to be as serious as Tesla or all other companies in the world that do over-the-air update. Cybersecurity is a reality we have to face.
I guess that is part of the certification process that you are going through, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We will not get a notified body, an independent safety assessor stamp or certification for generic product if we didn't answer everything to cybersecurity. Same thing as now it's the fourth railway package. So after the independent safety assessor, you have the European Railway Agency that will also check that cybersecurity is taken care of.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. There's another question from Martin Leenaerts, if we have got time. Onboard interfaces will still be necessary. For example, when you install ATO, Go A3 or 4, it's not all about software. It's also about hardware.
Totally.
Okay.
And the question of Martin is not only applicable to ATO, it's also applicable to any kind of other hardware interface we have, for instance, with the Class B system. So we are designing a product that has generic inputs, safe inputs and outputs, and unsafe inputs and outputs. And that product can be configured to add as many outputs and inputs you need and connect them to different sources. ATO will, of course, need to accelerate and brake the train. That needs to be taken care of.
What do you think is the reason that the other system suppliers, let's say the ERTMS system suppliers, are not providing this kind of vision?
I think it's a question of culture. I'm a software developer. I was bored during my studies, so I coded to get some enjoyment. And I think I came in the railway industry with that software culture, as do most of our team. And it's a different approach. Of course, our team is not only made of geeks, of software geeks, but also of railway people. Our CTO delivered ATO level 4 metro lines. So we know the railways, but I think it's the railway and the software world should speak more with each other.
Well, I think you really take a very original approach to things, and also this gives the opportunity to look at it from a completely different angle.
Sure. For instance, Tesla is an inspiration for us.
Yeah, I can understand.